The city of Los Angeles is in a state of emergency. That fire has grown really, really quickly. It's estimated that across the city there's about 3,000 acres burning, so really large and burning in really densely populated areas. As you mentioned earlier, in the Pacific Palisades, now that's the home of the rich and famous. It's an extremely affluent area, some really large homes. And we're seeing those pictures of homes completely engulfed. There's some monuments in the local area, some museums that are also under threat. There are fire crews across that area working really hard to save homes and to save lives. We have heard that this is a life-threatening blaze. Some of the most confronting images are possibly the scenes on the highway. We've seen dozens and dozens of cars lined up, bumper to bumper traffic, and at some point these are people who they've decided to flee and they've thought that they can't do it in their car anymore. They've left their car, they've left on foot. There were bulldozers coming in and moving cars off the road so that emergency services could get in. At the moment there are evacuation orders in place for about 30,000 people. So really scary scenes, a really difficult night ahead. We heard from the governor of that state talking about the emergency services, the really large operation that's in place, but saying that sadly this is becoming a part of life in California.
We were here not too long ago, the Franklin fire. A few weeks prior to that, the Mountain fire. November, December, now January. There's no fire season, it's fire year, it's year round. And it's incredibly important that we heed the warnings, the calls, that we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, Isabella, and looking at those live pictures just there, I mean, things are still clearly out of control there. What can we expect in the hours ahead?
Well, Ruby, it looks like it's set to enter its most dangerous phase in the coming hours. In about 2 hours, they think that's when winds are really going to pick up, and that's really going to be the danger point for firefighters, for residents in that area. Now, emergency services were prepared, they were ready for this. This high wind event had been predicted, and of course people who live in the state know that it has been dangerously dry lately. So there's a lot of preparations that are in place, a really large, a very experienced team who are working on this, but at this stage it could still get much more serious.
Let's hope they get it under control sooner rather than later. Isabella Higgins, thanks so much for the update.